Oops. We'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. Appreciate your attendance. We'd like to call this to order, and we'll begin with an invocation by Commissioner Musso, and a pledge of allegiance will be led by Commissioner Bullock.
Our Heavenly Father, we humbly bow our heads this evening and give Thee thanks for the opportunity of living in this wonderful city, for the beauty that surrounds us, and the opportunity we have to serve the citizens of this city. We would ask Thee this evening to bless the efforts of this Planning Commission and the citizenry, that we might be able to make recommendations and decisions that will be beneficial to all those members of Washington City. We're grateful to be living in this blessed country and ask you to watch over and bless those leaders of this nation and our state, that they might be able to find ways to govern that won't alienate all those involved. And we pray for these things humbly in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remember for prayer.
Thank you. We'll look for an approval of our agenda this evening on October 20th.
This is Commissioner Musso. I make a motion that we approve the agenda for October 20th, 2021 as stated.
Sanderson, I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Approval is granted on the agenda. Look for an approval on the minutes from our October 6th, 2021 Planning Commission meeting.
This is Commissioner Musso again. I make a motion that we approve the minutes for October 6, 2021 as constituted.
This is Commissioner Bullock, I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The approval of the minutes for October 6, 2021 were approved. Is there any declarations or absentations or conflicts for tonight's meeting? Like we're golden. Okay, our item number 4A on the agenda is consideration and recommendation to the City Council for the Crossroads at Stookie Farms Phase 4 final plat located at approximately Resolution Drive and Washington Fields Road. Applicant is Carl Larson, South Landing Development LLC. We'll turn the time over to staff.
Thank you, commissioners. This particular subdivision is proposing 13 lots on an area covering 5.08 acres. The specific location of this subdivision is zoned planned community development. Staff has reviewed the requested proposal, and the proposed final plat conforms to the approved preliminary plat. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of the final plat for the Crossroads at Stookie Farms Phase 4 subdivision to the City Council based on the following findings and subject to the following conditions as seen in your packets there, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Eldon, this is Commissioner Musso. Wasn't this when it was originally proposed? Wasn't that supposed to be a gated?
It is, yeah. It's labeled as a private road, and they'll have a gate coming into there.
It goes from public to private.
I see that. I see it's public to private, but I didn't see anywhere where it indicates the gate. Is the gate have to be shown on the plat or no? Okay, that's fine.
Any other questions or comments then I look for a motion.
This is Anderson. I make a motion to approve the final plat for the crossroads at Stuckey Farms, Phase 4, located approximately Resolution Drive and Washington Fields Road, with the 3 findings and 5 conditions, and send it to City Council for consideration.
This is Commissioner Bullock. I will second that.
I have a first by Commissioner Anderson, a second by Commissioner Bullock. All in favor, Bullock,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Musso?
Aye.
I'm Schill, I'm also an aye, and this passes unanimously on item number 4A. Do I have to repeat all that? Okay. Okay. Item 4B is consideration and recommendation to the City Council for Sendera at Sienna Hills, Phase 2, final plat located at approximately 2200 East and 1700 North. Applicant is Brennan Holdings, number 200 LLC in Sitla. And we'll turn time over to staff.
Thank you, commissioners. This particular subdivision is proposing 60 lots on an area covering 7.06 acres. The specific location of this subdivision is zoned planned community development. Staff has reviewed the requested proposal and the proposed final plat, both of which conform to the approved preliminary plat. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of the final plat for the Sendera at Sienna Hills Phase 2 subdivision to the City Council based on the following findings and subject to the following conditions as seen in your reports there, and we're happy to answer any questions at this time.
This is Commissioner Anderson. Question on these townhomes, do they not have any driveways or garages?
They do.
The ones in the middle?
It's an alleyway. Those are alleys.
Right.
They don't have driveways.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. So that's what I was like. Gotcha. So they just pull straight in. Okay,
Just an alley load. Yeah.
gotcha.
Is this the last set of townhomes up in that area, Eldon?
It is for this phase. Yeah, this is the nightly rentals. Phase 2 of Sendera.
Okay.
If that's all the questions or comments, I look for a motion.
This is Commissioner Musso. I make a motion that we approve the final plat for Sendera at Sienna Hills Phase 2 subdivision located approximately 2200 East and 1700 North. Applicant is Brennan Holdings, and pass this on to the City Council for their consideration with the 3 findings and 5 conditions as stated by its staff.
It's Commissioner Anderson, I second.
I have a motion by Musso, a second by Anderson. We'll have individual voting. Bullock,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Musso.
Aye.
I'm Schill, and I also am an aye. Item 4B passes unanimously, and we'll move on to the City Council. Item 4C on the agenda tonight is consideration and recommendation to City Council for Riverbend at Sunrise Valley Phase 2 final plat located at approximately Countryway and Bear Trap Canyon Drive. The applicant is Midden LLC. We'll turn the time over to staff.
Thank you, commissioners. This particular subdivision is proposing 40 lots on an area covering 10.43 acres. The specific location of this subdivision is zoned planned unit development residential. Staff has reviewed the requested proposal and the proposed final plat conform to the approved preliminary plat. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of the final plat for the Riverbend at Sunrise Valley Phase 2 subdivision to the City Council based on the following findings and subject to the following conditions as seen in your report. And we're happy to answer any questions at this time.
Eldon, with this being a PUD, do they need to have architectural approval on what they're building in there from the planning commission or no?
I'm going to defer to Drew on that.
Guess I better speak into the mic.
State your name?
Drew Ellerman, Community Development Director. If they're multifamily units, then we do, but if it's single family detached,
Okay.
the code doesn't require for elevations.
Okay.
So yeah, because I used to think the same, but when we wrote it up, that's how the council decided to go, that we wouldn't have, single family detached. We're not going to, but if it's multifamily, we kind of want to see like we do for the pop outs and things. So these are all single family detached units, so they don't.
Okay.
This is Commissioner Anderson. This question probably for you, Drew, maybe. So where they've got the common area between the buildable pads here, is that limited common where it's like the one that the Jefflets were doing where like
No, this
one
is-
unit uses the one side, or
You'll see, I'll kind of zoom down in here on this. The solid white is common area, so they can't. That's, and I'm not trying to be mean, but what's going on at Desert Ridge is not appropriate. Their insurance man would probably be a little upset if he found out. So, the limited common area is the hashed, and but the white streak down there that you can see my little cursor on, that's full-blown common. That's the setback area between the units. So that area should not be fenced off, blocked off, or anything to that nature. So, but they'll have their own little backyard areas. That's what that hashed area behind is. And then, of course, the whole front area, they're giving them the limited common area. There will be 20-foot, that should be a 20-foot drop back, but that's where their garage will be, driveways, and then their front yards that they'll let them do how they want in their own limited common area in the front. So
the backyard, like it says, what private element is that? I mean, that's limited common, really.
it's limited
right?
common,
Yeah.
but that's kind of what limits private to the people, that it's
Right.
a jut. Now, how this one's kind of labeled out, it's kind of ambiguous in between, where those 10-foot gaps are, even because they don't line up directly. But it still runs all along there. Now, what I could see in that area is someone could have their gates at the end of that common area to go into the backyards, is what they end up doing on each side, or one might be solid block, and then on the others, they could have the gates, or however they're going to do it. They could put one of the gates always on the right-hand side of the house to get to your backyards, whatever they want to do.
That's what I was wondering. How do you put a gate across common area?
Well, it's a limited common area, you can.
Right. No, I mean
Yeah, but they
Wide
wouldn't be
area
able to do
between,
it down toward the front. It'd have to be open all the way to the back.
all the way to the back and put a gate on the back.
Yeah, where the limited common comes in, then they can.
If there's no other question or comments, I look for a motion.
This is Anderson. I make a motion to approve final plat at Riverbend at Sunrise Valley, Phase 2 subdivision located approximately Countryway and Bear Trap Canyon Drive, with the 3 findings and 5 conditions, and send it to City Council for consideration.
This is Commissioner Bullock. I'll second.
So I have a motion by Anderson, a second by Bullock. Individual roll call. Bullock,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, Brian, how you doing? And this is Shill, and
you
I'm
sure?
an I also. I am tonight, yep. Sorry, bud. I looked at you. Okay, we'll move on to item number 4D, which is consideration and recommendation to the city council for red trails at Sunrise Valley. Phase 1B, final plat located approximately Countryway and Birch Creek Drive. Applicants Mid-On LLC, and we'll turn the order over to staff.
Thank you, Commissioner. This particular subdivision is proposing 12 lots on an area covering 1.38 acres. A specific location of this subdivision is zoned planned unit development residential. Staff has reviewed the requested proposal, and the proposed final plat conforms to the approved preliminary plat. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of the final plat for the red trails at Sunrise Valley Phase 1B to the City Council based on the following findings and subject to the following conditions as seen in your report. And we're happy to answer any questions at this time.
Eldon, again, do you know what type of product they're going to put in this? With 25-foot wide driveways, I'm assuming these must be 25-foot wide lots. I'm assuming these must be two-story townhomes of some sort.
I'm not aware. Drew may have an idea.
You did see these elevations on this product when you approved the PUD. It's a variety of 3 or 4 different floor plans. I think like the big wide ones are a bigger home, single story in size only.
Big wide ones at 35 foot by 55.
Well,
That's really big.
Don't take me back there. It's the therapist just cleared me to come back
Larger
to
lots
work.
are single story, and the other two are
Lot
two-story.
4, just in this case, just to let you know, 42, 46, and 50. Those are going to be spread out a little bit more single story. And then lots, the other ones, again, that tells you the different product they have. And then lot 43 and 45 are one product, 2-story, 44 is a 2-story. But that's why, they came back with those deeper, wider. I know it's not as, they are wider in comparison to the other two. How's that? I'll just rephrase that. And they're deeper than the other two, but those are single stories to help break up that monotony of 2 stories.
Okay.
This is like a product that's over off of Highway 7 you're probably familiar with. They referenced it, but when they came through their PUD, it's out off of over by the airport, and somebody's built it already. I know you have seen it if you've been out there. 7-foot gaps between, and then you've been through that subdivision. That's what same developer, same builder. Not developer, but same builder, I think.
So it's Salisbury?
I don't think it's Salisbury.
Okay. And is the only common area that little parcel on that far corner?
No, there's other common areas, and this is part of an overall PUD that has that park.
Big park. at
The big
bottom.
park over by the river.
Okay.
So they've, the city agreed to let them use that park, and it came in the phases with the trail system as part of their amenity. So this does have a few open areas, within it. This one not as much as others, but that's how it was approved.
And is the drainage for this whole thing then as a collective system on one big detention basin?
The park is part of that. The park's designed to be a collector, and I think they have a few other avenues that they use detention, other ones, but the main play area of the park is also a detention area.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
This is Commissioner Musso. I make a motion that we approve the final plat for Red Trails at Sunrise Valley Phase 1A subdivision located approximately Countryway and Birch Creek Drive. The applicant is Bush and Gudgel, and Midden LLC is the owner. With 3 findings and 5 conditions as outlined by staff, and move this on to the City Council for consideration.
This is Commissioner Bullock. I'll second that.
So I have a motion by Musso, a second by Bullock. Individual roll call, Bullock,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Musso.
Aye.
Shield is an aye. This passes unanimously. Number 4D, we'll pass that on to the city council. We'll move forward to item number 4E, which is consideration and recommendation to the city council for Red Vista final plat located 1100 East and Telegraph Street. The applicant is Red Vista Development of Orem LLC. And we'll turn the time over to planner or to staff.
It wasn't in the packet.
Should be Country Way, shouldn't it?
No, that's the road dedication. Sorry, for some reason
There was 2 road dedications in there, but
The condo, there wasn't anything in there was the description, but there wasn't a plat for it.
well.
we
yeah, there
apologize.
is.
I'm going to try to go find.
Red Vista condos.
I didn't see it.
Well, no. I don't, what's this? Is that?
That's a road dedication, Andrew.
Right,
Oh, it is?
right,
Labeled it, huh?
right. The condos are up on Telegraph.
Oh. Well, then we'll bury that, huh?
But the map, but the plat showing the road.
Right.
He's got a wrong label.
I don't know if I.
Plat's right. Look, the plat says Country Way.
Okay, so let me.
Right. But it's the plat's in the wrong spot.
Yeah, the plat's wrong. It's just in the wrong spot on the agenda.
Wrong spot.
What's it going to be in? No, I mean in the shared drives. What
When I saw that everything conformed to the.
is it going to be in development?
It's not there.
Right here. We're going to get there for you, gentlemen. We'll. You'll be familiar.
But nothing changed, Drew. Nothing changed, right?
They were the same thing. The road dedications were the same.
Here you go, and we apologize for that, but
No problem.
we've already approved
Yeah.
the first building. They're just bringing the second building in. So, okay.
Okay, so there's what we're doing.
Well, take over.
Yeah, let me find my report. Give me just one sec.
I just noticed that it all conformed to the preliminary plat, and I just felt like it was golden. So, sorry.
Got it. So this particular subdivision is proposing 15 units on an area covering 0.4 acres. The specific location of this subdivision is zoned planned unit development. Staff has reviewed the requested proposal, and the proposed final plat conforms to the approved preliminary plat. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of the final plat for the Red Vista Condominiums Phase 2 subdivision to the City Council based on the following findings and subject to the following conditions as seen there in your report. And we're happy to answer any questions at this time.
So is RZ's over here?
No, it's the. Correct.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is the turf farm?
No.
Okay, okay.
So when this was approved originally, is the density based on the whole parcel and not just on this 4/10 of an acre? I'm assuming the whole parcel. Because I was going to say, because that puts you up over 30 units per acre. Okay.
Yeah, the footprint of this building is 4/10 of an acre, you know,
Just the footprint.
just the
Okay.
footprint of it. Yeah, this is the way they wanted to bring it in. We weren't always in favor of this, how they're, you know, but so they're going to do it building by building.
Okay.
And so the one you're looking at is that building 2 with the slashed lines in it.
And then when's the common amenities come in?
It's based in your PUD. I think it was at 30% or something, 20. We'll go back and look that, so they'll have to bring in, and we'll just follow what the PUD said. So
I do know they brought some amenities with the first phase to the south there, closest to Telegraph. There are some amenities.
probably going to do the amenity, I think, at wherever it belongs in relationship to each building is probably what they'll do.
Okay. So do you know where this is, Pete? Yeah. Okay. Do you remember where it's at?
Yeah, I know where it
Okay.
is. It's where all that dirt work's going on right there.
Yeah, there's a lot happening, a lot of concrete work the last couple of days, sidewalks and curbing, and then
When did this preliminary plat come to commission?
A year ago?
there should be a date. Did you put the date in there, Eldon, in that?
No, it's
Okay.
not.
It's
So
been-
I wasn't here when it,
no.
okay.
I don't think you were. It's had its preliminary plat approval for a little while, so.
Okay, this is Commissioner Musso. I make a motion that we approve the final plat for Red Vista Condominiums Phase 2 subdivision located approximately 1100 East Telegraph. The owner is Red Vista Development of Orem LLC. With the 3 findings and 5 conditions as outlined by staff, and recommend this to the City Council for their consideration.
This is Anderson, I second.
So I have a motion by Musso, a second by Anderson. Individual roll call, Bullock,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Musso.
Aye.
I'm Schill, and I'm also an aye. Item 4E passes unanimously and will forward on to the city council. Item number 5A is a road dedication plat approval for an extension of public right-of-way adjoining the existing countryway, and we'll turn it over to staff.
Good evening, Commissioners. John Hinkie, New Development Project Manager. The applicant's requesting approval of red dedication for the extension of right-of-way along Country Way. This would be for an 8-foot wide parcel on both sides of the existing right-of-way. This would take our right-of-way from 50-foot to the ultimate 66-foot. We've reviewed the plat, the approved design, and would recommend approval of the road dedication plat, condition that all improvements be installed or bonded prior to recording of the plat. This would be on, we have Red Mesa, Red Trails at Sunrise Valley on either side of this section of Countryway. So,
So is this the section that's not paved yet?
yes. Yeah. Trying to keep up with all the,
There's a bunch of, yeah. I just keep waiting for him to get to the dump. That's all I'm asking.
You driven down that road? in the
Drive
last-
down that road virtually every weekend as we remodel our house. Yes.
Let's see, this, this does go to city council. So is there any other questions?
This is Commissioner Bullock. I make a motion, we approve the road dedication plat approval for the extension of the public right-of-way adjoining the existing countryway.
Commissioner Anderson, I second.
A first by Bullock, a second by Anderson. Individual roll call, Bullock,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Musso,
Aye.
and I'm Schill, and I'm an aye also. Item number 5A passes unanimously and will forward on to the city council. Thank you. Item number 6A is a public hearing. I will make note that we did not receive any comments through the internet or email, so we'll continue on. So item 6A is for consideration and recommendation to the City Council for Brio Phase 6B preliminary plat located approximately Camino Borde and Rialto Parkway. Applicant is Cole West Home. And we turn it over to the staff.
Thanks, Commissioners. This particular subdivision is proposing 31 lots on an area covering 5.752 acres. The zoning designation at this location is zoned planned community development. The surrounding zoning is planned community development to the northeast, south, and west. The proposed subdivision conforms to the approved zoning. The request meets the subdivision requirements and other city ordinances as it relates to this location. Staff has reviewed the request and recommends approval with conditions of the preliminary plat as outlined. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of the preliminary plat for the Brio Phase 6B subdivision to the City Council based on the following findings and subject to the following conditions. And we're happy to answer any questions at this time.
So this is Sheil. I just had a question on, it looked to me like the city's responsible for construction of 2 drive lanes. Is that correct?
To say that again, to what?
It says 2 drive lanes or right up here on the top. Let me go further. Keep going. Oh, maybe I'm on the wrong one. No, I'm on the right one.
I've got your picture.
I was just looking at that there.
Within the
I didn't
development,
understand that.
the
Up in the green, you got yellow and green.
what's that?
See, that's because that's the parkway, that's the city's street, right?
Yeah, that upper details for the parkway. Yeah, the developer will be responsible for all their roads in the development.
In the development, but we have to finish the parkway there. That, right. Those are 2 lanes we gotta do?
When it's built out at a future date.
Okay,
Right now, they're going to take care of that one lane, which will be, the deceleration and whatever else is part of this project. And so they'll have to put all that finished part in that they're dedicating to us. It's their responsibility. The rest of it will come at a future date when the parkway is expanded. It's 21-foot cross section. I mean, it's a overall.
right.
Ultimately, it's 39 feet. So
Right.
the city's already got 12, so we're gonna do the remaining 15 plus. The landscape and stuff.
All right, okay.
Do we want to open the public hearing?
Yeah, at this time, this is a public hearing. We'd like to open it up to anybody in the chamber that would like to make comments to this. Open the public hearing. Looks pretty quiet. I look for a motion to close the public hearing.
I just have one question for staff, and it's not necessarily regarding,
You want to close the public
we
hearing?
can close the public hearing. Yes, I make a motion, we close the public hearing.
This is Commissioner Bullock, I'll second.
Motion to close public hearing by Bullock, a second by Anderson. All in favor, aye.
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 Okay.
Onward and upward.
I just had one question. That's not regarding this one, but it's another phase in Barrio. I believe it was 4E that we have final plat approval on it, and they just are barely doing the dirt work on it now. I was a little surprised when I was up there to try to go take a picture of a lot, and I couldn't find it because it was in the mud. I don't ever remember us giving final approval for a plat where we didn't have the roads and stuff already in. I'm sure they're bonded for it. Is that what happened?
Well, and they may not have recorded it yet because here's the beauty. No,
It's
no.
down at the county.
Is it at the county?
Yeah.
Then they probably bond. Well, I'll guarantee they bonded for it then.
Okay.
If it's recorded, they'll have to bond for it. But, and in fact, I talk to a lot of developers and I tell them actually many of them should be, because most of the time they're coming here and they want us, they're at the end, oh, I got to get this recorded. I need to sell lots. So they're always pushing to get them in, and I get it. But I tell them, you have up to a year after a council approves a final plat to actually record it. So I said, take advantage of that. As soon as your construction drawings are done, you can come in and apply for a final plat and get it, and we'll set it on the shelf and let it collect dust for the next 9 months. But at least it's gone through all the reviews, and then all the signatures will come, and it just goes through faster. So there's different ways now, or they can get it recorded because they're trying to sell lots, but they'll bond up
Yeah,
front
well,
for it.
it was the one phase, so Main Street goes up along the.
And it's right to the west of it, right on that
Exactly. Between
edge.
that and that ravine, there's that little ravine right
Yeah,
there.
that's a drainage, channel and everything. So
Yeah, I was just surprised when I was
that's
up
a
there.
little, it's a little, and some
unusual.
of them are being held up by the gas company's been the bad guy the last couple months, as all the contractors know, because they're so far behind. They're bringing in skeleton crews from other places to try to catch up, but they're just trying. I mean, they're way behind. So they'll come in to get everything done. They'll bond out because they're waiting for the gas guys to come put the gas lines in the streets. That's been one of the biggest thing. Now power's catching up with that, where transformers are on back order with the people who make them, and so now it's going to go from the gas lines. Next thing is, as soon as they get caught up, then we're going to be behind, because electrical transformers are hard to get right now. You order them and it's 6 to 9 months out. So, and you
Are we
don't
gonna
dare order it.
Are we
and
going to
not
have
ready.
a bunch of half-finished subdivisions around again? Like we
Oh,
did in
they're
2008?
finishing them. It's just at a frantic pace in essence. So, but they want to get them done, get them sold, but then they know they can't build on till,
Well, if
but
they
then they're
have
ready
final
to
plat
go.
approval, they can build on them though.
Well, they can, but
They just-
not if we don't give them a builder permit, and they know that. But everything's ready to
Can't
go.
have CO though, right?
Well, there's other things by the fire code that we're supposed to have other things in the street before we give a building permit to.
Okay. And I'm sorry for wasting everybody's time. I just found that as an interesting scenario when I was up there 2 days ago.
This is the uniqueness of what's going on right now out there. So
I've got 30 houses that are almost finished and still on gas. I put orders in for them over 6 months ago.
Well, if there's no comments on this anymore, we'll look for a motion.
I just have one comment,
Okay.
either probably for the engineer if he's here, but the retaining walls, I can't tell if, I don't have any elevations on the site, just on Washington Parkway. Is this above Washington Parkway or below? Which way are the retaining walls going? Are they dropping down to the parkway or going up to the parkway? Anyone know? They're going up to the parkway? So all these lots are sitting down below it? Okay. Gotcha. And I'm assuming we have all the geotech on the walls and everything, because we've got some 12-foot walls here, so those be some significant geotech on that.
yeah, they have to turn permits in anytime it is it they'll, and so they with that is the engineer's design, which is the geotech design in essence.
Right. Okay.
Anything else? Look for a motion.
This is Anderson. I'll make a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Brio Phase 6B, located approximately Camino Bordet and Rialta Parkway. Applicant is Co-West Homes, with the 2 findings and 12 conditions, and send it to City Council for consideration.
Commissioner Musso, I second.
So I have a motion by Anderson, a second by Musso. Individual roll call. Bullock.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Musso.
Aye.
I'm Schill. I'm also an aye. Item 6A passes unanimously, and we'll recommend this to the City Council. Item 7A is a public hearing also to consider approval of a conditional use permit C-21-11 for a commercial building along Buena Vista Boulevard located approximately 990 West Buena Vista Boulevard. Applicant is Maverick, Inc. This does not go on to the council. And I
This
turn
does not,
over
you
to-
will be voting on this, and as stated, the applicants request an approval of a conditional use permit for commercial development. Any proposed commercial projects along Buena Vista Boulevard require a conditional use permit, as well as Telegraph, as well as Washington Parkway. But I just put it in here because this is the one that we're talking about tonight. The applicant's wishing to develop a new Maverick convenience store at this particular location. The proposed Maverick store will, with associated fuel pumps, canopies, meet the current zoning uses and setbacks. Well, I have to scratch that. I'll get into that in a second. The building elevations, and we'll scroll down to them. Let me back out a little bit so we can get both of them on there. Finishes and color palette are standard for the Maverick brand throughout the area and the state that we've all seen the new stores. This will look just like all the brand new ones you've seen being built in the last year or two. The parcel appears to be well landscaped and should make for a positive asset to Washington City. The new building structure will be required to meet the standards as outlined in the city adopted building and fire codes. Staff feels that if those can be met, then the request should be granted for the proposed new commercial development at this location. Staff therefore would like to recommend that the Planning Commission approve C-21-11, allowing for a new commercial Maverick store and associated fuel pumps and canopies to be built at the northwest corner of the Green Springs and Buena Vista intersection. This is based on the findings and subject to the conditions. Now, I did add, I was able to have a representative here. I did add an 11th condition on this. It should be fairly simple for you to get. I'm going to just kind of try to zoom in here. This particular lot is kind of unique. Maverick bought, I think, 20 feet on the north side from that developer, bought the whole lot to the east from a different developer, and then the parcel that the store actually sits on is retained in the ownership of the previous Chevron owner, and they're leasing, Maverick is leasing the ground from that previous owner. So the gentleman that owned the Maverick and the Chevron and that tire store, he's done being a store owner, and now he's just going to be a landlord. And so Maverick will be leasing from him. Now, where that property up on the north that they had to get to make enough room to fit all that they wanted is basically runs right along this sidewalk where you see the C-store, and I'll get my, I finally get a draw tonight. I got a chuckle from somebody.
Everybody else is eager for your drawings too. It's not a good meeting unless you've drawn.
Exactly. So the one property line runs basically right along this curb gutter, and then it feathers out to this point. It looks better by, So right there is actually where the property line is. So buildings have to be off of course. So luckily they're not crossing the property line. But because we are this close to it, we are asking that an 11th condition be added, because the Planning Commission can give up to a 0 setback. We're asking for a 5 foot, up to a 5 foot. The minimum right now required in C2 is 10 feet on a side and rear property line. So I just, I'm glad I was able to talk to the representative tonight and get that clarified. So we're asking for a condition number 11 to be on here as well, that the north setback be able to be a 5 foot setback.
Drew,
It's basically 5.5 feet.
Does staff count that setback from the concrete skirting or the walls?
The property lines to the
Property
structure,
lines.
a property line to a structural wall.
So the
Yeah,
sidewalk.
asphalt, concrete and asphalt don't mean anything.
So the sidewalk shown there probably is close to sufficient for that condition.
Yeah, he measured out. It's showing, we couldn't zoom in long, you get in there, but it's too blurred, but he was able to pull it up on his, he thinks it's about 5.5 feet, but we're going to ask for a 5 foot and we'll be good. So that, that gives them 6 inches to play to still go that way. And then, I'm asking that with your consideration that we add an 11th condition to go to a 5-foot setback, which is good because the building code doesn't change in setbacks till you get less than 5 feet. So they won't really have to, change much on openings and be limited in that respect. So they'll still be able to meet all the building code at 5 feet. And so that's the only thing that's different, on my report, and what you have is just to add condition 11, that 5-foot setback on the north. I would just say the north boundary.
Is there any concern for the city that you have ownership of two different ownerships of those parcels, but only one business entity? I mean, I could see not likely, but there could potentially someplace down the future.
It could, but it won't be any issue with us. It would be, the owners having that. You see what I'm saying? So code-wise, I don't have an issue because I can allow fueling pumps to be on a property because it's a permitted use in a C2, because there's some of those that are unmanned gas stations a lot. That's popular where you just go up and slide your card. They don't have a building or anything, just a pump. So I in this case, wouldn't have any issue whatsoever.
Are the tanks going to straddle the property line?
The tanks will, so they could have issue with that. But again, no structure is crossing the property line, but a pipe maybe underground.
It's a pipe.
Yeah, and you can work out easements, and if it came to that, property X is going to give an easement to property Y. They'll work that out between them,
Where they put their undergrounds, though?
That slashed area that you see right in the middle of the property, that's where they're going now.
That's where their undergrounds are? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that highlighted area right there that's got it in the gray, that's right in the middle. You can see the canopies over to the right and to the left, and that rectangle box right there is where the tanks are all going to be located. And the property line is right in between those parking stalls and those tanks.
So the tanks are actually...
There's another, I guess I can show you, there is another property line.
And that's fine. So the tanks are actually on the Mavericks, on what they own,
Yes,
not on the leased property.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the leased property over here, and this is the piece they own, and they own this back here.
And
Up
the
at the
tanks
top.
are over on the other side.
And the tanks are on this property right here.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't foresee there being a problem, but you never know. I mean, how long's their lease for?
Yeah, but city regulations, we wouldn't have much issues with that. We would just, if they did have to split it for whatever reason, we'd just come back and say, well, get an easement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Drew, can we talk about the ingress egress? On the west side, is that a left out? And then is that the median that I see in front of the left out? There's an existing median in Green Springs Drive.
Yeah, that should be a right only,
Right in, right out, isn't it?
should be a right in, right out on the north.
I just see a
west corner.
I see a left out arrow. Is that, you see what I'm saying there?
Yeah, are we going to adjust that median? I think, good, you're coming, because we've talked about doing it for a long, long time. Go ahead, John.
The conversations that we've had with them, we will be shortening up that median to allow that left-hand turn movement out of.
That'll benefit left in traffic to the other corner too. I think that's probably a good plan. Okay, so on the south, we've got a left in, left out onto Buena Vista, correct?
Yes.
And then you could come in from the left or right there. And then on Primavera, left in, left out as well.
All movements, yeah.
What's that called?
Yeah,
It's not,
it's not labeled.
they're calling it Primavera. That's only because the people who own it, I think their company name, right?
It's Primavera even, so it'll have some other name. Is there any plan for access from this parcel to the north parcels though? Is there any,
No, on the plans that we've seen, there's a curb.
and we wouldn't require that because it's private there, the future development might figure something out, but we wouldn't require that.
No, we wouldn't.
They'll have access to both those roads as well as you go up. In fact, let me go to that overhead and zoom out a little. And
The applicant, please state your name, please.
that's a staff member.
This is city
It's
staff.
John.
Got John Henke and Thad Segmiller.
So you can see the roads up here. They'll be finishing this, of course, with the development of Maverick right here. This road's already in. This parcel above has I think there's curb cut right there already
Yes.
by my arrow. And then they'll have access all along Privera Lane.
So that
You know,
interior
so-
road will take care of all of that. And
Take care of
Yes.
That parcel, yes.
that, my main question was on that left out into the median, and John's answered that question. Thank you. Drew, this is Commissioner Bullock.
Yes.
Are they going to be required to do that road all the way, or just half of that road?
I'm not sure what the agreement they've had. I'll let John answer that.
The current discussion is that they will build that entire section of Privera
Yeah.
through there, yes.
Okay, because this is for, these fuel islands are going to be for the big trucks, the semis, correct?
Yes, those are the diesel pumps on that side. Yes,
Okay,
there's-
so they'll come in there and go out the other way.
that would,
Or-
yes, that'd be the most efficient way for them.
I just want to make sure it was wide enough that they could get a truck in and make that turn. Where's the nightly truck parking going to be, Drew?
Thank goodness, sent somewhere else, and I hope it goes quite a bit to the west. Our city limit ends not too long down there, and just past the city limits to the west.
This is a public hearing. I'd like to open up our public hearing at this time. If there's any comments in the chambers that would like to address this. Looks pretty quiet again. How about a motion to close this public hearing?
This is Commissioner Bullock. I make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Second.
I have a first by Bullock, second by Anderson. Close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No nays. Okay, if there's any other questions, let's address them, or I look for a motion. This does not go to city council.
This is Commissioner Anderson. I make a motion to approve C-21-11 conditional use permit approval for a commercial development located at 990 West Buena Vista Boulevard at the northeast corner of Green Springs and Buena Vista Boulevard intersection. Applicant is Maverick Incorporated with the 4 findings and 10 conditions plus
11.
Let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
Plus an 11th condition to have the north setback be 5 feet.
This is Commissioner Bullock. I'll second.
Have a first by Anderson, a second by Bullock. Individual voting. Bullock,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Musso.
Aye.
I'm Schill. I'm also an aye. Item 7A passes unanimously and will be approved the conditional use permit. Okay, we'll move on to item number 8A, which is also a public hearing. This is for consideration and recommendation to the city council, a zone change request Z-21-24 to change from OS open space to RA 1/2, which is residential agricultural 1/2 minimum acre, located approximately 2150 East Washington Dam Road, and the applicant is Desert Sands LLC. We'll turn the time over to staff.
Thank you, Commissioners. Stated the applicant's requesting this zone change of approximately 6.0 acres. The requested change, as stated also, was from open space to residential agricultural 1/2 acre. The RA request is for the purpose of developing the 2 parcels into a future residential subdivision. This particular location has a general land use designation of estate residential, which allows for the R130, RA 1/2, RA1, and RA2 zoning districts. The surrounding zoning to this parcel is open space to the north, RA2 to the east, R130 and RA1 to the south, and then an RA1 and RA5 zoning to the west. Staff has no concerns with the proposed zone change since it falls within the estate residential of the general plan. Staff therefore would like to recommend that the Planning Commission recommend approval of Z-21-24 for the zone change request from open space to the proposed residential agricultural 1/2 acre minimum onto the city council, and that's based on the findings in your report. And I'll be glad to answer any questions that the commissioners might have on this zone change request.
Who owns the subdivision to the west? The RA, it's zoned RA1 bonus density. Is that the stuff that Belliston brought in that we
That's
denied?
Dennett.
And it's Dennett that you denied and the council approved.
So what are they going to build? So do we have any kind of, we don't have a preliminary plan, we're just doing a zone change, right?
We're not allowed, we tell them not to bring that stuff in a zone change. You can kind of look at that stuff in a general plan amendment, but not in a zone change.
This is Commissioner Anderson. So I guess my only concern would be if we drop it down to RA 1/2, and then let's say they apply for bonus density or whatever.
They
really
won't,
shrink it.
they can't do it in the RA half. You'll have half-acre lots,
Okay.
minimum.
All right.
You have to have an RA1 to do bonus density.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that tells me I'll
That's
tell
what
them
they want is half
they're going to just make half-acre lots out of it or bigger.
There's a residence on each one, right?
No, there's nothing on these two lots. They're kind of strange looking lots, very long, very narrow.
Okay, well, I looked on Google, I thought,
Well, here I can bring you.
I think RA 1/2 would be better. I mean, that was my problem with the project to the west, is just that, it went from RA1 to RA 110 or to RA 110 with bonus density, so it really shrunk. But with this, if it keeps it at RA1, that was my thing, is I wanted it to remain agricultural where people could still have animals and so forth, and you have to have half acre to do that.
It's these two lots right here. You can see my arrow bouncing back and forth. You can see that they're very narrow, but very deep.
I was thinking it was right here.
No, and this is the area that bonus density went into.
Okay.
And then these are the ones, it's turned a little bit in your exhibit, with the black and white and just the color. And this is more north, true north, south, east, and west.
Okay.
So again, I've always, since I've been working here, these lots have been there and they're just very odd for the area being so narrow, but yet extremely deep.
Yeah.
And even the one to the east even goes back, you can see farther, way back there.
Well, this is a public hearing. Should we open it?
So how far back does Dennett's property go?
Right to that white line right there. Yes. This and then you can see this one kind of dials back into that. And that's that area it's a haven for utility easements. You've got everything running through there. The Water Conservancy has, I think, one, if not two pipes. You have Rocky Mountain Power running through there. We have, I think, one or two lines running through there ourselves as a city. And it runs just like that on that angle right there.
So where that's real dark, Drew, just push your arrow up just a little bit more. That's a big hill.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, that's a big hill.
It goes down. Yeah. It's almost like it was a pit.
It was a ready-mix plant.
So I guess, so the question is, so the back half of the lot,
Dennett's lot or this?
no, the other lot, that back half, is that usable at all?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah. It drops a bit. You can go there and, from the roadway, I think if you went all the way back and you look back, you wouldn't be able to see the road, if I remember right. It really falls, not great like, what Commissioner Anderson was pointing out. You can see that shadow being a cut, but on the property that we're talking about tonight, it's not, you can drive it. It just,
So is it in the floodplain?
I can show you where the floodplain is, if it's even near here.
Still a ways from the river.
The river's right there. Isn't it?
No, the river's not in that image, but the fields that, abut the river.
Floodplain popping up now, and that's in
Okay,
total
okay,
different.
Okay, I
And here's the
Thought that
back
was
of
the
that
river.
piece that we're talking about right here where my arrow
That's
is.
fine.
So yeah, we're
That's
quite a
fine.
ways
So
away
you're-
from
you're
floodplain.
Forever away from the river.
Yeah.
That said, all that sand there, Commissioner Musso, came from somewhere some time ago. That's how that river works, is it meanders through those places, yeah.
Just not now or in the next 100 years it won't, right? Supposedly.
Per the, yes, per the Corps of Engineers, it won't for 100 years.
Okay, this is a public hearing. I'd like to open it up for any comments the public may have. Ask you to step forward. If you come forward, please state your name clearly and talk into the microphone. We appreciate you.
My name is Georgette Kent, and I live at 2191 East Washington Dam Road, and we're the property directly east of this piece in question, and we're sandwiched between this frontier subdivision, which you guys were gracious enough to deny, but City Council totally ignored and went ahead with it. And we are requesting that, we recognize there's going to be a zone change because it's open space, but we would request that it be either zoned R2 or R1 to conform with what's on either side of it on the east and west. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Neil Kent. Before I comment on this, I'd like, if you could go back to your map, I can explain a couple of things for you that you guys had questions on. What you see back there is where the canal was and where the easements are. And the reason that it has that dip into there, before the canal was built, that was all even ground. They dug that down, pushed the dirt up on both sides. So there is no floodplain, there is no problem with any of that. And as you look to that top left corner, that's the old Rocket Rogers gravel pit. And that's why you have the depth. But that ground, yeah, there's a lot of sand, but shortly below that sand goes to gravel. And the further you go down, the bigger it gets. So you can eliminate that problem. But what our concern with in this is strictly that we are zoned RA2. And if it gets down, and our concern has been that when they got through with the RA1, which is Dennett's, there's no animals can be on the property with the things given. So that being the case, you can look at our place and it's an arena. You can't see the cows that are in it. You can't see the horses that are on it. And if you put something next to us with no animals, if they can do the same thing that they did with Dennett, then my concern is, how do I keep their kids out of my animals? How do I keep their dogs out of my animals? That's what we are. That's what we went out there 20 some odd years ago when we fit into the zoning that was there. We didn't change zoning of any kind. So I'm a little concerned if they don't have to have animals, and that's what Dennett's does. There's no animals available because of the size of the downgrade on the lots. And so if they're going to do something like that, then they either need to have to put a wall that keeps all of their kids out of my place, because I don't want the liability with the animals, you know, and kids are kids. I don't care, you know, you can have your own kids and you can tell them don't climb in the haystack, and kids are going to climb in the haystack and they're going to want to come over and they want to, you know, be around the animals. And I don't know if you guys are aware of it, because 99 and 9/10% of the people are not. But if somebody has a oleander bush there and they think, well, that's green, let's feed it the animals. Well, I've got dead animals because they're killers, and we've had them actually die from it and find the leaves in the pen. And so we're a little concerned when we have people that don't have them, that don't know, next to us in that part of it. So That's my biggest concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Drew, didn't you just say that, or Corey, didn't you just say at RA 1/2 they can have animals?
No, they can.
They can't.
RA 1/2, they can have animals,
Is that correct, Thad?
right, Drew?
Yeah, anywhere in the RA, but it's based on your acreage, what kind of animals you can
Right.
have and the number thereof. So to say they can't have animals and then they just won't have large animals.
Right.
But
You
if
know,
we
but
change it,
Lot sizes aren't big
Animals
enough.
like he's
What's
talking
that?
about.
Yeah, he's talking large.
Yeah, if you have a certain lot, you know what I mean, with horses or cows, you got to have X amount because you got to have them in a pen, and every one of those pens has got to be 100 feet away from any residence, including your own. So on the smaller your lot gets, that 100 feet gets, and then, you know, you could end up with a 10-inch by 10-inch square. You could put one, but depending on what your lot, I'm just giving you examples, but you can still have animals on RA. It's just that you're going to fall under the other things that we say based on, and everything's based on the acreage. You get certain number of this, and you get to pick and choose, you know, what those are based on and it's under what's called family food production. That's what, the only reason you get to do animals in any RA is because of that. So,
And of course, any animal usage is, I mean, they're required to fence and, you know, maintain their animals. There's no free range in that area.
but the
Commissioner
RA,
Bullock, did you have something?
Yeah, the RA 1/2, they won't be able to shrink the lots if we go like that, like Dennett has with this bonus density. So there will be minimum of half-acre lots, if not bigger.
right, they can't get any lower than half acre. It'd have to be that or up.
And that's what I guess gets me. My initial thinking was to say it should stay RA1 like the others, except I don't want to have what happened with Dennett's where
You throw an RA1,
yeah, and then
they can utilize bonus
and then they
density.
can drop all the way down to
Right.
RA 10,000. So
If the applicant's wanting to go RA half, then
Yeah.
I would.
I would think that if we said, hey, make it RA1, then they're going to bring in bonus density and they're going to have smaller lots, and then you won't have any agriculture. And again, that was why we denied it as a commission, Dennett's properties, because we wanted them to be able to still have animals on the property and keep it at least half acre. I mean, it got denied, or it got approved with council, but that was why we had denied it, was for the
And the commission
ability to keep the animals.
didn't want land just kind of sitting vacant, being allocated to bonus density, right? You wanted that land to be.
We wanted the purpose of this area to remain agricultural, at least at a minimum, where they could have something there. So again, I think RA1 sounds better, except I think, and with regards to their comments, I think RA 1/2 is going to be safer for them. I mean, if it goes RA1, then they're likely to apply bonus density, I would think.
Yeah, if you were to make it RA1, you can't, based on the current city ordinance, you can't disallow them from applying and qualifying under the bonus density provisions. And so if you want guarantees, the guarantees are at the RA half. You're gonna be guaranteed a better result with that than RA1 will have that possibility. And maybe the applicant doesn't apply for it, but if they choose to, you can't stop it if you make it RA1.
Jason, is it for this one? Yeah, the public meeting's
Don't
still
open.
open.
My name's Jason Newton. So my little brother owns this property, and we tried to find a way to do R1 on it and not bonus density, but it's so long and skinny, it made it basically impossible. So Drew said we're not supposed to talk, or you guys weren't supposed to know, but I don't know what I can say and what I can't, but we want to just do, we will not go bonus density. It will be half acre minimums, and it'll be subdivision. So there'll be a solid wall, keeping away from the animals and everything. Block wall, just normal.
So there won't be large animals with that? Is that correct?
Well, there can be, but it won't be, the neighbors, the Kent's property line will have a solid wall from property line to property line. Well, at least in the subdivision part. There is the easement, so until the city gets a road where that easement is, because I think that's future plan for a road. So for now, we're just gonna try to develop the front half basically alongside Dennett's. And then we'll have that back piece that's no man's land because there's no access until we get to it. Does that make sense, or does that help, or make the Kents feel better? Like, I agree with their issue. I just, whatever we build in there, we'll have completely blocked off. Even if we don't go clear the end, the wall will cap it. That help?
So just to clarify, right now that easement way is not a projected road, but would be a projected recreation trail, depending on how discussions go with the canal company and just the city's trail planning.
So the road to the, sorry, this is Commissioner Bullock, the road to get to that back piece would have to come through the subdivision. I mean, eventually, if there was a subdivision, it would have to go through there because.
Guys, if the applicant thinks that's going to be a road that gives you access to the back sections, that's not current, those aren't the current city plans.
Okay, that is what we were under the impression of. I guess Dennett deeded.
Well, I think you can build a road. I mean, stop me if I'm speaking. I think you can go across those easements with the road. You'll be able to get to the back of them but you'll build the road as part of your subdivision.
Okay, but currently Barco hasn't given up their easement. From
No,
what
no,
I
no. I'm
understand-
saying from the street, when you design your subdivision, you can design a street that will go, let me get my,
Straight up.
So you own the property where the canal easement crosses, so you can
Yeah, it's
build your
not-
own road across there.
well,
It would just be subject to their underlying easement
part of your
rights.
design, you can cross this easement with a road. Okay?
okay.
And it's part of your design, and it doesn't have to be down the middle. If your design ends up that road's over here, that's fine too, but
Well,
you-
it
you-
would have to be because you can't get a half-acre parcel and split that thing. It's too dang skinny.
well, like I say, and I'm not, your engineer's going to lay it out whatever's best. That may end up being one big piece that you sell to somebody, and their access basically is, from here back or, whatever it is, but that driveway or however they access that piece back here, that comes at a future date. We're just talking zoning right now, but
Yeah.
a road can go across this easement, okay? From down here to up here, a roadway or a driveway can cross that easement. Just can't put any buildings on it.
Okay.
I just wanted you to be aware that the city doesn't plan a public road along that easement that would give you ingress, egress to any of that land. It would be right now the plan is a limited access recreation trail.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Drew, so this is Commissioner Anderson. So I'm assuming this would be, the preliminary plat would be the time for this, but let's say, for example, the block wall, if we said, like I would say, we'd want to make sure that block wall, at least between them and the property to the east, the Kents, gets built before homes are built. That would be a condition we put on it, preliminary plat, right?
Correct.
Is that because block walls are harder to climb than haystacks?
In theory. Walls make good neighbors, right?
The applicants indicated they're planning to do that anyway.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
You're
at
just
that
so-
time, I would say it'd be built before they build houses.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be required to put one in, but if they, trying to be a good neighbor and said they would do that, and you made that a condition, that's fine. But when you have, unless the only time I require block walls, if I'm going from commercial to residential back to back, then one is required. Or we can require them in PUDs, separating it from non-PUD parcels.
So you make it a condition based on the representation of the applicant.
No.
Not now, but when the plating comes through. And
Yeah, if there's no other comments from the public, let's close the public hearing.
This is Commissioner Bullock. I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
I got a first from Bullock to close the public hearing and a second by Anderson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We'll march on with other comments or questions.
I think what Commissioner Anderson said is exactly right, though, is that if you put it at RA1, then they could possibly, and I'm not necessarily saying these gentlemen, because they've,
But let's
But they
say
could,
that
if they
they
sold
end
the
up having to
property.
sell it or whatever, someone else could come
Exactly.
to bonus density. I still think RA1/2 is a safer bet.
because that still allows for animals and everything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I look for a motion.
Commissioner Anderson, I'll make a motion to approve Z-21-24, request to rezone approximately 6 acres located at 2150 East Washington Dam Road from the current open space zoning to a proposed residential agricultural half-acre minimum RA 1/2 zoning designation. Applicant is Desert Sands LLC with the 2 findings, and send it to City Council for consideration.
This is Commissioner Bullock. I'll second.
So I've got a first by Anderson, a second by Bullock. Let's go with individual voting. Bullock,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Musso.
Aye.
I'm Shill, I'm an aye. We have unanimous approval for 8A, and we'll recommend this to the City Council.
Can I ask a question? Will we get notice of this for city council? Is it required that they send us notice for this? We did not get notice when the tenant one went to city council. And no one got notice, and so that's why no one showed up to propose that at city council. So if we get notice, that's great.
They'll get notice, is that correct, Drew?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yep, you're right next door, you'll get notice. Okay, that concludes our meeting tonight. Is there any other questions or comments we need to bring before the planning? Okay, I look for a motion to adjourn.
This is Commissioner Musso. I propose that we adjourn this meeting. I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Have a motion by Musso, a second by Anderson to adjourn this meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 I know they weren't very happy about that. That's probably the best thing. Because
Welcome. Be in touch. They will look